Hey, it's Sean from Alpena, and today we're going to install a pair of these QuadFire RGB lights on this recreational vehicle. Let's go over some of the components you get with this product. First, you're going to find the install guide right here. It gives you all the information you need to do a proper installation. You get an Allen key, which is for tightening down the light after you've mounted it to secure it in the position you want. We have mounting hardware for mounting the light to your vehicle, and then we have some electrical connections. However, today we're going to be using the Alpena install kit as it has everything we need to complete a safe installation. It includes an inline fuse, a lit switch, and a relay, and plenty of cable. One more modification we're going to do, since this vehicle comes with a rocker panel and we happen to make some great rocker switches, we're going to do this install using one of our rocker switches instead of the included switch with the install kit. So let's go over the tools you're going to need for this installation.
First things first, always wear some protective eyewear whenever doing an install. Next, you'll need some wire strippers with the ability to crimp. You'll also need some basic tools for fastening the lights to your vehicle using the included hardware. We recommend a socket and combination wrench. While not necessary, using some zip ties to keep your wiring clear of hot or moving parts is always a good idea. That's all you need to install these lights.
The first step is to do a test fitment. You want to make sure that you can install the light and it doesn't interfere with the sight lines of the passenger or the driver. It doesn't interfere with the normal operation of the vehicle at all, and it doesn't get in the way or rub against any of the other body panels. I'm happy with this, and I'm going to go ahead with the install. Now we have to make sure that our wiring harness is long enough to reach the battery box. First thing we're going to do is just pull this out. Here's the battery connections. So we need to ensure that we have enough lead to reach out to our lights out front. We have enough length to our switch, and then all the cable that we have left has to be long enough to reach the battery compartments. Now we have enough room to get clear access to the battery. We have a place to install the relay over here and enough room to run our wires over here. So we are good to go. Now we're going to prepare our wiring harness by installing our connective hardware. An important note, if you're only using this install kit to install one light and not two, you need to make sure that you have properly sealed and covered the ends so that there's no possibility for these two to connect and cause a short. But for us today, we are installing two lights, so we'll use both. So you can remove the cap, insert into the plug. There we are, using the blue on the crimp. Give it a squeeze. Always give a pull. Make sure that that's on there solid.
Now we'll do the rest.
And we give a little crimp. And crimp. Crimp. Solid, solid. We're ready to go. Before we start messing with the power, we need to disconnect the battery.
Check your owner's manual for the proper procedure to disconnect your battery safely.
Once the battery is safely isolated, then we can go ahead with routing our power lines and connecting them to the battery. Next, we will install the switch into the blank spot, feeding through the hookup first. And there we are. Switch is in.
Remove the fairing
and fish the line for our switch.
I'll remove the cover to the center console with these two bolts here.
Now that I've removed the bolts up here, I can come back here, take this out, and remove this piece of plastic. And I have to take these out, these plastic pieces out, so that I can run the cable through the side along the end to come into here. And we have to feed these lines through the side of this fairing. So we'll lift up that fairing, run down the lines, and there we go. There's our light switch. And now our switch is connected. Leads from the lights will go into the fairing hole, and on the other side we'll hook up this power so that the power and all the cabling stays underneath the cowling, out of the way, and we have a nice clean install.
We will now connect our wiring harness to the vehicle battery, starting with the positive lead. Next, we will attach the ground lead to the negative terminal of the battery.
And the other thing I always recommend is take your fuse out. You don't want to actually have any of these wires running live until you know everything's installed properly and hooked up right, and then you can put your fuse in at the end. Done. This is all back together. Reinsert our center console.
Now we'll clean up the loose wiring with a zip tie to ensure everything is secure and out of the way of any moving parts. Reinstall the fairing, feeding the connections for the lights through the vent holes, and then we're ready to attach the lights. To prepare the light, we need to attach spade connectors to the end of the wires. I'm using an automatic stripper to expose enough wire for the connectors. After crimping the connectors, give a tug to ensure a strong connection. Now we're ready to install in the vehicle. Mount the lights using the supplied hardware. Always start by hand before using tools to avoid cross-threading. Keeping everything finger tight will allow for adjustment before tightening down with tools, ensuring a perfect placement and direction. That's it, let's try them out.